So for our quick tip today, we are going to be talking about 4 different styles of homes. And it's important to understand styles of homes because when you're looking for a house to either purchase on your own, renovate over time and sell for equity, or to fix and flip, you want to know the style of home you're dealing with, what the opportunities are to add value to that home, and you also want to know, is it similar to the homes around it or is it different? And the reason why that last point is important is because buyers tend to be a little bit more cautious with a home that is not like those around it. So that could affect your time on the market. It could also affect ultimately the resale value of your home. So we're going to talk about some different styles and key characteristics of homes, really basic overview that hopefully help you as you are searching for your fixer-upper. Now, before we get started, my name's Amber Miller and I am a real estate agent and designer in Minneapolis. I have been working with renovations and fix and flip projects for more than 10 years, and I've got a little bit of experience that I hope to share with you to help you on your journey as well. And there's also a website with a checklist. So if you're thinking about buying a house and you're wondering if it's a good fixer-upper or not, there's 8 key features I look for in a home, and that's in a checklist at www.thresholdhomes.com/checklist. You can download that, print it up, and take it with you, just like having somebody walk by your side when you're deciding if a house has potential. So make sure to check that out. So now we're going to talk about 4 basic styles of homes that exist all across the country. Now, in your neighborhood, it may be a bit different. So that's why it's always important to enlist the help of an expert, either a real estate agent or an investor who's experienced in your neighborhood. But the first thing we're going to talk about is a Tudor style home. And a Tudor style home is characterized by very steep roof lines. There's usually some vertical detailing on the exterior of the house, like think strips of wood. Think almost fairy tale cottage or gingerbread style home. These houses oftentimes have potential for additional finished space in the upper level, which may be a full story, or it may be a half story, or in the lower level. So these are homes that when you're looking at renovating exteriors as well, they have a very specific theme. As far as colors go, they're usually stucco. And usually they're not on their own. There's usually blocks of them. So when you're renovating an exterior, you're just going to be mindful of that because you don't want it to stand out in a bad way. So you're going to want to be true to those roots of that home and at least make sure that it doesn't have a color palette that contradicts the style of the home. So the second type of home I'm going to talk about is a Cape Cod. These are very common. They're very plain. It's a 1.5 story home. They're characterized by very little exterior decoration or ornaments. They're symmetrical, so there's usually a front door and 2 windows. There may be an upstairs window or a dormer, or there may not be. These homes are also great for opportunity for finishing that half story upstairs or finishing the lower level. I know in our area, oftentimes these homes can be a bit challenging for ceiling height on that half story upstairs. So you're going to want to make sure if you're looking at one of these and considering finishing that space, that you know what your building codes are for height in order for that to be considered a finished livable space. The third style of home I'm going to talk about is a rambler. Very simple, very plain on the outside, very symmetrical. So usually again, a front door, a couple windows on either side. And these homes only have opportunity for additional finished space if the basements were not done. But again, you're going to want to check the ceiling height down there and make sure it works with building code to have it qualify as living space. And I will also say that I have seen probably in the last 2 to 3 years, almost not a rush, but there's been a lot of conversation and a lot of requests from people to find ramblers, to find those homes where they can do single level living. And a lot of times it's people who are downsizing after raising families and sending kids off to college. They really want that ease of a couple bedrooms, kitchen, living room, dining room, and maybe even a main floor laundry room. So know that with a Rambler, those are definitely some opportunities to appeal to a different base of client. So depending on what your market's like and what your demographic for buyers is like, that's something to keep in mind. And then the last style of home I'm going to talk about today is a split entry, or it's also called a raised ranch. And again, very low roof line, not a lot of pitching, built mostly in the 50s and 60s. These homes typically do not have, they typically don't have any unused space. They were laid out for efficiency, they were built for efficiency, and usually the garage is also integrated into the home. So it's like a tuck under situation. With a split entry, you're gonna walk in, and one of the first things you're gonna notice is there's 2 flights of stairs, one up and one down. And in some neighborhoods, split entries are rare, and so they may not stand out in a good way to a buyer. And in other neighborhoods, they're actually more desirable. So it really just depends on your local area, where you are geographically, and what the combination of homes is in that neighborhood. So please make sure that you're always checking and getting numbers and also some input from other people who may have more experience and can help guide you and direct you as you make your first offer. Or maybe it's your 10th offer, who knows? Anyways, I hope this information was helpful for you today. Again, make sure to download that checklist at www.thresholdhomes.com/checklist. Make sure you're liking this video, following our YouTube channel. Check out the blog as well. We've got great design tips. We've got before and afters. And follow us on Instagram too. That's actually on a daily basis where you're going to get to see a lot more of the property tours and just the sneak peeks as I'm house hunting for additional projects. So thank you so much for joining, and until next time.